Good afternoon, and welcome to the Activist Corner. I am your host, Jen Jackson, and today we have a very lovely guest with us. We have Miss Kim Russell from People United for Medical Marijuana. PUFMM is a Florida-based political organization pushing to get medical marijuana on the ballot for 2012. Her group is actually quite vast, and I have to say it's quite impressive. She's doing a lot of really neat things. So without further ado, I would like to bring Kim on and let her inform you of everything that she has done and is doing to further this movement.
Kim, are you with us?
I am.
I would like to welcome you to the Activist Corner. It's really nice to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. I suppose the first thing that I'd like to do is I'd like for you to give our listeners a little bit of background about yourself, mainly where you got your education from when you first became aware of medical marijuana and the benefits of it, and what did you do to become active, to become a soldier in this field? So I'll let you take it from there.
Oh, well, my education just was basically from the Internet, and we did buy a few books to really learn the ins and outs of it, but yeah, the Internet was our biggest source. And my father had Parkinson's, was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and so in doing research on what kind of natural alternative treatments there were out there, I found that marijuana was one of them. So I obviously tried to ask him if he would be willing to break the law, and he wasn't. So I just started going through the measures to see what we had to do to get the laws changed.
Wow. That's great. That's very courageous.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Everybody said, you have to go talk to your legislators so we can get a bill introduced. And, so I did everything that you're supposed to do, and I got shot down all along the way. And finally I came to our only option left is the ballot initiative. Legislation is not likely going to happen in Florida without us forcing them to do it. So we started the ballot initiative process.
Now, did you have any type of experience or background in political movements at the time, or is this your first undertaking?
This is my first undertaking.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I suppose then you started. Tell me how that happened. Did you start? You started the petition, correct, to get it on the ballot, and then you started PUFMM, or how did that happen?
No. So PUFMM is People United for Medical Marijuana. We are we first had to register as a political committee in order to do the ballot initiative, not, just anybody can't circulate a petition. You have to be registered with the state in order to do that. So we went through that process and hired an attorney to write our petition, because when we get to Supreme Court review, if it's not written properly, the Supreme Court can bump it out and reject it, so that we would have to start over from scratch. So I did want to hire an attorney to make sure that we're doing it the right way. So we went through that process. That took another 30 days. And I just went on the Internet and went through meetup.com and through Facebook and started networking with different people in the field. And it was amazing, the outpouring of support that we got.
That's great. So you have been a one-woman army, just like we're preaching for everyone to do. I think that's on your website, isn't it? We all have to be an army of one.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I thought that was such a great quote, because it's so true. It really is.
It is. You can't wait for everybody else to do it. You just
and I think that's been our downfall so far, is I think so many people are just taking a back seat, and we're almost preconditioned to do that. We think our legislators are taking care of it, our politicians are taking care of it. Not so. It needs to be us.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If we're not even voicing our opinions, how do they know what we want? So.
Well, yeah, it's not with we have to take it a step further with the marijuana issue, because even if you do voice your opinion, the legislatures likely will not listen. They are being their campaigns are being funded by pharmaceutical companies and by prison companies. So it's more than just the fight against a plant. It's the fight against a whole industry that's thriving. It's several industries that are thriving because of the plant's illegal.
Kim, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, honey. I think we might have just locked out for a second, but I do think that people understood what you had just said. It is. It's frustrating when you're up against such high-powered special interests because their resources are so vast. But I guess that's where our strength lies in numbers at this point, if we can all come together.
Yes. It's just getting people out there and getting people active.
Yeah, I agree. Now, do you think, in your opinion, that it is going to be legalized in Florida, medical marijuana?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, it will eventually be legalized. How long it's going to take, I can't tell you, but without a doubt, the laws will change one day.
Now, tell me what's going on with your petition. I think either you told me, I heard something that the petitions, the signatures that you got up until a certain date. Do you remember? I think we had that conversation before, something about the signatures not counting. Can you please reiterate that and tell our listeners so that maybe we can get a nice little drive to your website to find this, fairly quickly and get as many signatures as we can get?
Yes, when I started the petition drive, the signatures that we collected were good for 4 years. In this past legislative session, they passed a bill that would make the signatures good for only 2 years. In the press, it's being called quite often the voter suppression bill. So that is being fought through the courts. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed that it does get ruled unconstitutional and it goes back to the 4 years. But as we stand right now, any signatures collected as of May 21st of this year will only be good for 2 years, and any signatures up till that point are still good for the 4 years.
And how long has your petition been in circulation? Where are we at now with that?
We've been working on it for about 2 years and a couple of months. We're up to 28,000 signatures that have been verified. We have another 3,000 or 4,000 that we are in the process of getting turned in to be verified. All
right. And what is your goal? What's your target?
Well, our short-term target, we get a Supreme Court review. We get at 68,000 signatures.
All right.
So we're almost halfway to Supreme Court review, which is a huge benchmark. And after that, what we've heard in the other states is that around 100,000 signatures is when the national organizations like the Marijuana Policy Project will come in and fund the rest of the effort to help us collect the rest of the signatures.
That's great.
Yeah, so that's kind of our short-term goal, what we're looking at. But in the big picture, in order to get on the ballot, we have to get 676,000 signatures.
Okay. And this is within the state of Florida alone, correct?
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
We are the hardest state to get the laws changed in, of course.
Oh, boy. Well, it seems like you're doing a really good job, though. You've been so diligent. You've made leaps and bounds. So tell me how long People United for Medical Marijuana has been in existence. Is it about a little over 2 years, about the same as the petition, or?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my gosh, Kim, you've done so well.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome. By looking at the organization and what you've accomplished so far, I would have thought much longer. So I have to give kudos to you. That's great.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, I say it's just me, but really there's a whole bunch of people working around the state real hard. We have 30 chapters now around the state and 18,000 people on our Facebook page. So, yeah, there's a whole lot of soldiers out there in the field helping me out.
That's wonderful. Kim, let me ask you, in addition to your petition drive, are you lobbying the legislators of the state of Florida? What do you have in progress there?
Yes, we did get a bill introduced last legislative session. It did not go anywhere, but just getting it introduced was a huge accomplishment for the state of Florida. Next session, we will get another bill introduced, and hopefully we'll have the sponsorship that it needs. Last time we didn't have a both House and a Senate sponsor. This session we will, and that will give us a step up in getting it passed. But I spent a lot of time in Tallahassee last session, and I was told repeatedly that it will not happen in Florida for at least another 6 years going the legislative route. But I don't believe in giving up, so I'm still going to try to lobby them. But it really gave me more determination to go forward with the petition, because really that's the only way I believe that we're going to get it done in a reasonable amount of time here in the state.
Oh, that's great. Now, do you know of any other petitions or bills out there that might be able to support what we're trying to do here, or even that are associated to, our area, the state of Florida?
Well, there's nothing else going on in the state of Florida as far as legislation right now. However, Dr. Ron Paul, on a federal level, did introduce 5 different pieces of legislation to help the marijuana industry. And, of course, if laws were changed on a federal level, it would make it so much easier for us to get the laws changed on a state level. But he introduced 5, I'll give you the numbers really quick, H.R. 1983, H.R. 1984, H.R. 1985, H.R. 2306, and H.R. 1831. Those are 5 pieces of legislation that people can write their United States House of Representatives members to support, and that would one of which is the ending the federal marijuana prohibition, which is completely different. Dr. Paul made it very clear that he is not going for full legalization. He just doesn't think we should be putting people in prison for nonviolent drug offenses, which I agree with.
Yeah, that makes sense. I believe unless it's it's theft or crime against another person, violent, physical, that I think that our law enforcement can utilize their time more to the benefit of the people's safety.
Absolutely.
So,
there are so many more serious crimes than smoking pot. It's just amazing.